which is how I've been called for the past 10 years since I started editing AMVs. These are my colleagues. They will introduce themselves.
Greetings, my name is Henrik Varga. My nickname is V. Hendrik, as you can see.
On my right side, you forgot to mention that you're from Hungary, which is why we're talking in English. And on my right side...
Hello, my name is Bogdan. I'm from Romania. My YouTube name is Liar.
Yeah, he lies a lot. Exactly. Yeah.
Jokes on you, I don't quite lie.
Not a lot.
Yeah,
okay, and...
Hello, my name is Vince Balaban. I'm from Hungary and my editor name is Golden Thunder.
Yeah, we couldn't fit his whole name on the icon, which is why it's currently just golden. Yeah, so we are AMV editors. We are all part of a team called Ellines Nakama Productions, which once upon a time used to be just a Greek team, but now is international because AMVs have become a big thing in the whole world. That is actually another reason why we're here, the main reason, because we believe that many people at Beogradu convention, next Japanese one, like watching AMVs. So why not talk about what happens behind all that? What happens with the people that actually make these AMVs? You might or might not know that some AMVs on YouTube get over 50 million views. That's a huge number. So if this convention is made for us to get closer to everything that has to do with Asia, anime is a huge part of it, and AMVs are, in my personal opinion, an art. So why not talk about that for a bit? I will now give the word to my colleague who will tell you something more about AMVs themselves in case you are not so familiar with what they are.
Okay, so what is an AMV? This word stands for anime music video. The phrase music video is pretty self-explanatory because a music video is like there is a music and you make the video to it. The music exists first and the video was made to it. It's like dance. Anyone dancing here, like on a regular basis or something? Nobody? Yeah, so it's pretty similar because whenever you dance, you are trying to visualize the music as perfectly as possible to sync your movements to it. And the same goes for AMVs as well. Well, I'm not pretty sure how old is this genre, AMVs. But we have like AMVs from 10 years ago, and I brought you two AMVs, one which is pretty old, and one which is quite new. I'm going to show them to you and also talk about them a bit.
Okay, so before my colleague prepares the videos, I will just mention that the first AMV that is currently online is actually from 1971, when they literally took VCRs of the first anime, connected them together, stuck them together, and then made them in beautiful quality. Unfortunately, we couldn't get these videos here today, but my other colleague will talk about the website on which it exists, and when that happens I will tell you which one it is, so you can check out those two in case you're interested.
So the full video is pretty long, and the same goes until the end. The thing is, it's pretty fast. This is something called an action AMV. The second one is not going to be like this. The main thing which may be visible to everyone is that it has many sources, like plenty of animes. And the interesting thing is that how they connect these scenes. You have like, I don't know, hundreds of episodes maybe, and you need like 4 seconds from an episode. Searching for this is really, really hard and time consuming. Not mentioning the editing itself, where you have just pictures about characters and you are animating them. So when you don't have a scene, you make your own or something like that. So this is pretty brilliant. Not mentioning that how long it is, really. I think this and the next AMV is going to be a great example of why AMV editing is such a great thing, because well, nobody can answer the purpose of life, but I think creating is something which is really close to it. Like, creating something, popping it to existence by you is wonderful. It somehow describes you as a person, like what you make, and having it like your own and sharing to others at the same time. I look at it like this, and I think it's awesome. So I think we can just play the next video.
The next video is actually a winner of a huge AMV contest, a worldwide AMV contest, and it's quite different. The first one. Enjoy.
again, this is pure creating, editing on a huge level. This requires a lot of knowledge, but making a good AMV doesn't necessarily require that. This is just another example, like no one did it before or after. There are elements used by other editors later because it's so unique. The editor really made up on its own story, and every time I see it, I get some sort of inspiration to do something like that. Of course, yes, unfortunately I can't, but I'm really trying to. Yes, this was made by Kors. He's not a member of our team, but the first video was made a member of our team, ENP. And I think that's all I wanted to say. So I'm giving the word to Bogdan.
It's actually Vincent who's going to talk now. Yeah, well, before he starts, I would just like to add something about the video you just saw. It won the contest because, unlike the first video you watched, it actually used a lot of anime, but made it seem as if it's all one. And that is something that started to be popular recently, let's say around 5 years ago. In the period before that, AMVs were usually just people trying to put their favorite anime scenes to their favorite music, but a bit more recently started becoming more of an art. Now, Vincent will now talk about some AMV communities that you can go to and check out all kinds of AMVs. You'll surely find something you like.
Of course, a hobby as huge as AMVs and as something that has such a big fan base as AMVs has its own standalone community, which is not really one big whole community that we can talk about. It's more like a community made up of several smaller communities. It's because the AMVs are so big that it's filled with a lot of people, and this amount of people can just be one big whole community, but a lot of people create their own smaller communities. The biggest community that we can talk about is probably called a site called AMV Central, which used to be a site that was dedicated to help beginner AMV editors like professionals, and later on they created their own Discord server, which is filled with a lot of people, mostly American people, but actually people from all around the world at every age. Though people get attached to smaller specified communities more often, these communities can be separated by editing, like communities made by AMV Studios. AMV Studio is something that is made up by a certain amount of people to create AMVs together, and they usually have their own standalone community. We are one of these communities, ENP, and the most famous communities like this are Soul's Team AMV, Grouse Team AMV, and Indigo AMV.
Indigo Team AMV is kind of our rivals, so I don't know why she mentioned them, but okay.
These communities can be specified toward certain contests as well, like anime-based AMV community, which is an AMV contest held every week, and it's a contest where people have to use a specific anime, and they have 1 week to edit them, and people gather around this contest, and a lot of people from the community all around go together at one place to compete each other. Or these communities can be separated or specified by different countries as well. Like me and Henrik are part of the Hungarian AMV community. which is like a friendly community made up only for Hungarians. And there are a lot of different communities like this, like AMV France or AMV Netherlands. These communities used to be mostly on forums back then, or different sites, like animemusicvideos.org or AMV News, or even ENP used to have its own active forum where people communicated with each other on a regular basis. But nowadays these communities are mostly on the chat software called Discord, where everyone can create his own server and can fill it up with a lot of people. The smaller communities usually come together when there are contests. There are a lot of AMV contests in the community. Like the studios I mentioned before have their own Iron Chefs, and Iron Chef is an AMV contest where people have to edit specific songs from a song pack of like 50 different songs. They can choose their own, and they have around 3 days to edit them. And people usually join them because it gives a lot of prestige to get a high placement on these small competitions, only in 3 days. And there are a lot of different Iron Chefs like this. Like the biggest one is Soul Steam Iron Chef. It usually has around more than 100 competition participants, which is quite a lot. And yeah, the biggest contests ever are probably Japan Expo, held by AMV France, Across AMV contest, which is held by Russian editors. The AMV we watched before, created by Gors, was a winner of this Across AMV contest in 2014. And the last one, which is also probably one of the biggest one, is called Big Contest. It's held by the site called AMV News, which is a Russian AMV site, but it also has its English features. And one of our members actually got a really good placement on this big contest. A few years ago, she got second place with a manga editing video.
Actually, this member is a Serbian. My only other fellow Serbian AMV editor, because we unfortunately don't have a Serbian AMV community, although I've tried to create it when I started editing. Her name is Red Angel. She actually volunteers here often, so unfortunately she couldn't be with us here today, but that's why we're going to watch the video that she got second place with. This is a manga edit. So it's an AMV, but manga edits, it's usually called a manga music video.
Okay guys, so now it's my turn. I will read a bit from the phone because I'm a bit nervous. Don't shoot me please. Okay, so my task is to talk about leading a team because for a couple of years I had a team named Courage Unit. Courage means crazy. I wanted to have a Japanese name in it to sound more cooler, but now thinking back, it doesn't quite sound that cool. It's cringe. Yeah, so it all started in 2015. That's when I started editing, and after like 1 year, I didn't know how people interact with each other in this community. I was more of a lone wolf, and I managed to join a studio, a team. They were a public one, and I finally got to see how they interact with each other. I found humans in this community, and I was overjoyed. But I got in, so back then it wasn't that good because I wasn't that good. And after a little time, I wanted more because I knew that I improved. I wanted to join bigger teams. Luckily for me, I decided that somewhere in the summer when everyone was holding auditions because all the kids and everyone is more free, is more likely to be free. So I tried to join, I think like 10 of them, but I got rejected from every one of them. Yeah, I was so disappointed. I knew I was better, but yeah. After like 1 week of being sad, I was like, okay, that's it. I will make my own team. And I'm like, take that guys, I'm gonna make my own team. I wasted like 1 full week on 1 single edit to prove that I'm a capable editor, so people will take interest in me as a leader. Because being a new team, the team only has you, the leader, so you have to show that you are capable of leading them. So I did something psychological. It was a weird edit, but it was something that people took it very nice. The team had more than 80 auditioners. That really made me happy. I accepted like 15 of them. And that's how the team got together. Now the team, you can call it a studio, a team, unit. My team was Courage Unit. I wanted to not be like everyone calls a team a studio. Back then everyone has studios. So
we have production.
Yes,
they're also original.
I didn't know about them back then. So I wanted something more unique. Back then it was only 1 team with unit, and I was like, okay, I will copy their names. They sound cool. I want to sound cool. And yeah. Well, what do you do in a team? Well, most of the time we talk about animes and AMVs. My team was so active, we were no-lifers. We had more than 2,000 messages per day. We were non-stop chatting on Skype back then. If you were to miss 1 or 2 days and come to the chat, the Skype might crash from all the loading messages. We used sometimes this chat as a weapon. If someone from the community we didn't like, we will add him in the team chat and then kick him. His Skype would crash from all the loading messages. We were able. Yeah. Okay, so since we were an AMV team, we edited as well. We do maps, they are multi-editor projects, that's how we call them. A map is where everyone takes a part from one song and we put them all together at the end. So a map will have even from 2 to 20 map parts. I saw maps that had 100 parts. I was like, oh, these guys are crazy. They will have like 2 seconds to edit. You don't understand anything from that. Yeah, so after everyone is done with that part, you put everything together and bam, we have something made together. Teamwork, guys. After that, now here's the tricky part about these AMVs. Everyone has its own style, ideas, so you have to, as a host, me being a leader, I was the only one hosting these maps. I didn't let anyone to pick songs for the team. I was like, I know what's good. You have to, as a host, you have to put everything together to not look like one is editing action, one drama, one romance, and it will be a total mess. You have to match these styles at least a bit. So they will send a part to you. You will beta test them. You will beta test when he will send a part, and you'll have to look at it. And if you have something to change, you will tell to the guy, hey, look. I think this part will look better if we add something different around here, stuff like that. We help each other a lot in the chats. That's what a team does. We help each other. But me as a leader, I wasn't that good because I tried to be very nice to everyone. So as a leader, you have to be more serious and do not try to not upset everyone. I was so nice to everyone. Like if I didn't like one part, I tried to find the excuse like, look man, this could have looked much better if we had something different. Try this one, and at the end, nothing worked, and it was a total disaster. But at least I tried. I'm self-aware that I'm not a good leader, but I did my best. You really have to be careful with this because you have to be very picky with songs. You can't just pick what you like and the other guy will be like, well, I don't like that song, I have no ideas. If we do that, then there's not a team. We will do like we will put like thousands and thousands of songs in the chat, and after so much time of talking, we will finally pick one. And oh, finally, we're gonna edit something.
That's what you think, but what actually happens?
Yeah, what actually happens is that I pick a song at the end, and they have nothing to say about it.
Of course.
I was the boss, yeah.
Your time has ended, though.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna end something. I'm gonna try to end fast.
No, not that. Your time of being a leader, not now.
Yeah, well, after 4 years of leading the team, I got super tired of it because it's really hard to lead the team. Not most of the time, but from time to time there will be dramas in the chats. Of course, we are humans, we have different tastes. Like someone will say something like, I like that song, the other guy doesn't like, they will clash each other. That's the most banal example I could think now. But there could be some dramas, and I was there the daddy to make peace to everyone. Okay, stop it. Why are you so childish? We are friends, we are a team. Don't fight each other. They will call me in the chat, Papa Liar is coming, when something will happen. I was proud to be called Papa Liar. That's the chatting part. Well, in the maps, this is the funny part. In maps, you will have those so-called people so lazy that when you do a map, you will put a deadline. The usual deadline will be 1 month. You have like 10 to 20 seconds part. That it will take you like 1 week. Not much, depending on how much you want to work on it or how good of an editor you are. To me, it takes like mostly 1 full week to do a good part. But those so lazy editors, they will come at the end when the deadline will be with nothing prepared. I will be on their PM and say, hey man, what is the part? What happened? And my PC broke. I'm traveling. I'm not home, and all kind of excuses. All kind of stupid excuses, and we will extend this deadline to the point when we had one map that took us 1 year and 3 months. I was like, what the hell, guys? How is that possible? It will take you 1 week to do something, and you delay the map for like 1 year. That's insane. We are a team. Think about the other people that did their parts on time, and you come 1 year later delaying everything. That's not what. That's not okay. It's not okay to do that. Yeah. So at some point I will have to keep them and replace them, because otherwise the map will never be over. Yeah, so after 4 years of leading the team, I got tired of all these situations, and I wanted to be a member, to not be at the wheel and see what happens if I'm not leading stuff. So I quit my team. I wanted to join another team to see how they do their stuff, because I always got rejected, and after that I never tried to join another one. But after 4 years I was like, okay, I think I'm good enough. I think I'm good enough to join another team, and I got into their team. In our team now, it's in ENP, and it's better. It's better than in my team. There are more leaders. I think I could use some help back then, but I didn't know. And that's all.
Alright, so now we're gonna play one map, multi-editor project, that was created by our team for a contest, and I think you will see how difficult it probably was for all of us to kind of match the anime, the type of editing, and I think, if I remember correctly, we got a nice place, so let's see this one. this was a map called Suicide Squad, inspired by the movie, which you might know. So basically, now my turn is to talk about how it feels to be a member of ENP as a team. I've been in ENP since 2013, which is like 6.5 years, since I was 15. I technically grew up as a part of this team. And soon we will actually share why we started editing AMVs. But before that, I would like to share this picture with you. So, in 2014, we started meeting up in real life, which is something that not many teams that edit AMVs actually do. Because most of the time we are all very far away. Sometimes we now have even Chinese members. But we decided to still try. It was actually me who first came up with, yeah, I'm right now. Who first came up with the idea, hey guys, let's all meet in real life. And they were like, you know, we are AMV editors, we sit on PC, like I said. We don't go out. But I was like, you know, maybe if we can meet people who are similar to us, why not? And this is actually the reason why we are here today. Because I believe that people who come to this convention, I have a lot of things in common with them. And I've been coming here, I'm from Niš, by the way, not from Belgrade. And I've been coming to this convention every single year for 5 years, singing in the which will be tonight at 8, and I will sing again, so you guys are of course invited to come. I really fell in love with this convention, and I thought, why not mix two things that make me the happiest, which are AMV editing and my team, ENP, and the community that I love so much, which is actually here in this convention. We don't have something similar in Niš. We have Japan Niš, which technically focuses on Japan, not on the anime and the community. So let's go back to the ENP talk now. So we decided to meet up in 2014 for the first time, and that was so weird because I was standing and a guy came up and he was like, I'm sorry, are you Mr. Daniel? And I was like, wow, someone actually called me by my YouTube name. Yeah, from then on, we just kept on meeting in real life. I met most of the members of ENP, which right now are around 27, 28. All of them that live in Europe. I actually started traveling because I had where to go. Before that, I was mostly like, you know, why spend money on going to, I don't know, Athens, which is very usually tough, when I can spend it on PC things, you know, new graphics card, what's better, right? But I realized that because I go and find people that are similar to me, that have the same hobby as me, which is lovely AMV editing, that this actually broadens my horizons. And now here we are. A few years ago, I would have never thought that I would have actually had a presentation at this convention and who to hold it with. But yeah, now we're here, and that makes me really happy. And these pictures that you see there, most of them are pretty old. They're from the past years of our meetings. And unfortunately, the people that you see could not come here today, but we have some members that really wanted to come here and share this story with you. I did have to do some convincing because, as you know, we are AMV editors. We don't do this. Well, they don't do this. I like to sing, so I'm fine. But yeah, I have to do some convincing. But when I told them that in this convention there might be people who are similar to us who would like to hear our stories, of course they agreed. So now we're going to play one more map, which actually has 16 parts. We will not play the whole thing with sound because we will start talking in it, but don't play it. Actually, this map is what we believe represents us as a team, because at this time we had all the members join one map. When this got released, we were all so proud of ourselves. We actually watched it in real life. We were so proud of ourselves. We were all sitting on one couch and we were like, guys, we made this, and this made us into friends. Like anime, starting from being anime fans, got to AMV Editing, we got to an AMV team, and now here we are. And that was a really, really priceless moment for me. So let's just watch this for a bit. Alright, so now we're going to talk about something that is kind of personal for us, but we believe that that's exactly why it's important. We're going to talk about why we started video editing, because for some of us, including me, it was actually life-changing. So let's begin with Henrik.
So the reason I started editing is because I'm not good at anything else. So anytime I try to draw, sing, dance, do anything else, I just failed. I practiced, I tried, but then I was thinking about what else could I do, and I really like motion picture, like movies, series, animes, and I really like music as well. And then when I found the first AMVs on YouTube, then I wanted to do my own, and thus I just started. I just started doing this. Fortunately, as Vincent mentioned, we have our own community in Hungary, so I could get help from more experienced editors as well, which really accelerated my improving. And I think that's all.
I always valued art really high in my life. I always liked listening to music, watching movies, or even just watching artworks online. And I always had the urge to create something from scratch, to be one of the artists in the world. So in 2014 I found out about this whole AMV thing. I was watching anime a lot at that time, and I had a lot of songs I really liked, and I found out that on my own, at my own home, in my small room, I can do the same that cinematographers do. I can use the same softwares as professionals use, and I can just use the same softwares on my computer with the same things to do in them, and I found that really amazing. So I just started doing this whole thing in my small room, and I found it amazing that I can make something on my own without having to really learn anything, and I just improved on my own later on.
Okay, so for me it's not that big of a deal. I knew about AMVs since I was little. I don't know how. but I put my hands on Dragon Ball Z AMV with Linkin Park in it. Yeah, I don't know how I got that video, but I got it on my phone, and I can remember. But it was something amazing back then, and many years later, I found the ENVs again because I didn't know about them. I forgot, and I like them. They combine the animes that I like to watch with songs that I like to listen, and I will find the animes and the songs to my liking quite much time. I think I wasted like one summer only with animes, no outside, no contact with people, only only watching. I was a no life back then. At some point in 2015, I was with one of my friends, a weeb friend, like myself. He said that he used to edit before, and I was like, oh, that's cool, that's amazing. And I wanted to try myself, and he was like, well, we can go together, we can start editing together, we will make a collab, half you, half me. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. I watched like for 1 week so many tutorials to not suck, to not be bad, and we did something really amazing together. At least back then it felt amazing. Now that I'm watching back, it's not that great, but I still hold it dear into my heart.
Alright, so for me, I started editing in 2011. When I was 13. And that all started with me actually finding some kind of an escape in AMVs. So let's say that I wasn't very happy with my friends at school, and anime always used to be something I really liked. And as you may know, in Serbia, especially back then, that wasn't really a thing that makes you popular. So let's say that through AMVs, I kind of found an escape. And when it really started mattering to me is when I started meeting people who like the same things as me. And this changed my life in a way that I stopped looking only at the people that were around me, like physically. And I realized that there is a bigger world where I can do what I like and not be judged for it. That's another reason why I like this convention, because we can all come here and express exactly what we like, and the people will actually agree with us. And that was not something that I could do in my schools actually, high school as well, and childhood. For example, when I started editing, I gained subs really fast, like subscription on YouTube. Right now I have almost 18,000 subscribers who watch my AMVs. But I actually hid that from people for a very long amount of time. Throughout my high school years, no one knew that I'm editing AMVs in Serbia just from outside. And then at some point I told myself, wait, why would I be embarrassed to something that A, makes me happy, B, makes other people happy? Because I got so many messages on YouTube saying, thank you, your AMV, it made me overcome problems in my life. And when I read this, it made me extremely happy. So right now I want to play a part of a video that I made that right now has about over 1 million views on YouTube. For which I've gotten many messages telling me that I changed their life with this AMV and this made me happy. Play it from 2 minutes. Because we don't have time for the whole thing. It is actually 2012, but yeah, I still get Yeah, well, it's been so many years, and even now when I watch this AMV, I remember how I felt back then. And well, to finish my part, I would just like to say thank you to my colleagues at ENP, because being a part of that team really helped me through really difficult times. And now I'm really happy that I'm here, and while watching I actually thought, oh wow, I actually got to show my AMV in Serbia. This is the first time ever, something I really wanted to do for a long time but never could, although my AMVs have been played in other countries, like in Greece and in Bulgaria, their conventions. So yeah, I would just like to thank my team that might be watching the recording of this, and to tell them I love you guys. Okay. So now, if anyone has any questions, we would like to answer them. They can be about anything, like maybe you're interested in being an editor, maybe you are an editor, maybe you would like to join a Discord server of editors. And that's what this QR code is for. If you would like to join the ENP Discord server, where we play games, give advice, share interesting things about AMVs, share AMVs, but also edit sometimes. You can just take a picture of this QR code and join our server. We're also really friendly people. I think that right now our server has about 500 people, although we are only 20-something members. So yeah, we would like to reply to any questions you may have for us now, from advice to just curiosity.
Okay.
Perhaps the only way of collaboration is isolated segments. So we're like, no, actually can't have the car. It's really, this is something like that. If someone is better at one part, then someone is better at one part, it's okay. Or it's kind of a good touch.
Yeah, it's a great question, because actually I just finished working on a collab when two people works on a project, and we didn't make parts. We decided that one of us searches for scenes, the other one do the effects, and this is maybe similar to what you are asking. So instead of slicing up the song, we give tasks to each other. That's a way to work as well.
And I think that there's another thing that he asked. No, we definitely touch each other's parts. That's what he talked about earlier when he said, as a leader, you have to tell people your part is bad, fix it, but in a nice way, you know, because we're all friends. And this is not a problem if you are asking someone like in your team, because everyone will help you. Some people do not like criticism, but they get used to it and they are fine with it if they know that it's coming from like the best intentions. But it's not always like that. If it's in your team, it is best intentions. But on YouTube, as you may know, there are a lot of haters, people that will just write, oh, it's bad. So if this happens, yeah, we ignore those. But we definitely help each other. I can always go to him and say, hey, help me with After Effects because I'm bad. Or Henrik might ask me to check something he made to see what I think. So yeah, this is definitely part of being a team. We always help each other in editing and in live stream.
Yeah, we don't have much time, so if anyone has any other questions, we will be out there or staying here, I'm not sure, and answer them personally.
We have time for one more question though. I don't know what, I heard. Okay, both of them, please. Yes.
Based on your experience as a team, as you work, when you start to make, when you make it or choose to make a new AMV, what is the first thing you use? Do you first choose the song, then scenes, or the scenes, and then the song?
Well, depends. If it's a team, then we mostly go with a song first, because it's more easier to choose an anime, a source, to match together with the song. But if it's like a solo project only for myself, and you have a favorite anime or something, you first pick that and then search for the music that will match it, or you can make the anime match your song. Depends on your creativity, how good you are.
Yeah, and we tend to, when making maps, we usually find a few songs, and we're like, okay, if we do this song, we're going to do a medieval theme, for example, or the last one that you watched. Or, oh, with this song, we're going to do gangsters, which you also saw. If people say, oh yeah, I like that, and 6 people say that, we're already like, okay, let's go. Anyone else want to join? And then it just goes like that. Okay, can we hear the other question?
Whatever.
Depends on the AMV actually, because the last one that you saw, my one, back then, when I was still new, it took me like 1 month of every day, like 3-4 hours, but right now I could make something like that in 1 day. So it really depends on your experience. If you knew it will take you a lot of time and you will still not be satisfied, you'll keep it close to your heart, but you, like, realistically speaking, will not be satisfied with what you're doing.
That also depends on how complex your concept is that you want to execute. Like, if you just want to do an action AMV that looks good and flows good, you can do it like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But if you go for an AMV when you make your own storyline and you want to follow your own story, or just give a feel you got from a song really good and put all your effort to it, it might take more than half a year even. So that really depends from AMV to AMV.
The one you saw, the second AMV with all the little particles, I think the editor said it took him only 3 months to make that, and he's one of the best editors around right now.
It took a year, by the way.
Depends how picky you are.
Yeah?
I have a question. My favorite AMV is Animagraphy by Quills.
Yeah, of course, we know.
He used to make these, because I watch on out of seasonal anime, he used to make these, that one AMV at the end of the year, and he stopped. And now I think the community want to continue his work, and they start making their own animagraphies. But I always wondered, how are they made? He's one person, right? But he used to combine.
Do you guys want to say?
Well, I think I don't know him, so I don't know how it works. But you can either on my anime list site, you will pick whenever an anime appears, you will download the source from it and put it together in that edit. Or at the end of the year, you will just download tons and tons of sources. It will take forever to do what he did. Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Last year, actually, it was there was one net because a person from AMV.org, which is one of the websites we put, she collected a lot of editors. There were over 40, and each one of them got like a 5-second part in which they had to put 5 anime. So everyone edited a bit by a bit, and they created a big thing. But I actually believe that animagraphies were better while Quill was making them. That's my personal opinion. Any other questions? Okay, well, we're going to be around today in case you want to ask us anything, or if you're interested in being an editor or watching some AMVs. The QR code is there if you want to talk to us or our friends. And yeah, thank you very, very much for your attention today.
Thank you.